how did you two meet?
Oh boy. Probably through Storks.
Yes.
And Pride. When
Yep.
we were at Pride, and Storks used to go to Pride, and we had a booth, and so we would interact through that, and we didn't know each other that well, but the community's small,
yeah.
and so and that's so much work, as you know.
But you were in the bakery full time back then.
Oh yeah, I was back to probably early 2000s, right?
Yes.
So I was in the bakery, busy.
You were also in politics.
And 02, of course,
yes.
I was mayor, which was fun, and to get the city in the right direction, to push
100%.
it. And so, he was very active, and we were both active, but the softball part of it came not until really he came knocking at my door.
When I became commissioner and knew
Right. And
that.
you were not involved at that point.
At that point, I retired from the league in 2000. After the Gay World Series in Toronto, we had put this Super A team together with Billy Bean was on our team, and this wonderful A division team, and we designed to win we built it to win the A division, which we unfortunately came in second. We never lost all year. We beat the LA team until the finals. They beat us twice. I'm not bitter.
Coming up into knowing that we had missed the 25th, my goal was to make the 30th a huge event, and we needed to make sure that we recognized our history, because knowing that we were not tracking our history, we've had the conversations, we're like, oh, we need to really go, and he has been pivotal since coming back to make sure that we go back and make sure we have that. But I was like, I've got to reach out and get George Kessinger and Jim there. So going through the process and reaching out, and I initially reached out, I think in spring, and you're like, I really just can't do it now. Because you were dealing with a lot and had a lot going on personally. And so I was able to get George there in spring, and then, I was finally had reached out a couple more times and checked on you, made sure you were good, made sure you're okay, and then said, maybe it's time for you to come out and, see your softball family again. And he finally agreed to it, and was hesitant about doing the first pitch at first, and then I was like, no, I'll do it. You know what? I got this. And seeing him come walking up at Mills Pond, there's like a big sidewalk, and seeing him, I was by the first field on the right hand side, and seeing him come walking up into the field again, it was kind of like I could see it all coming back to you.
I did. This was in the fall of 2023, and then he was very committed to the history. When we met, the following year would be the 30th anniversary, and really committed to it. And behind the scene, what he knew what was going on, and my husband Ron, who you knew, a wonderful man, love of my life, had Parkinson's, and I was a caregiver pretty much for him from late 2019 all the way through he passed away on June 28th, 2023. And so that whole time I was just lost, and after he passed, anyone who's lost someone they love, the love of their life, you're just kind of lost and grieving, and words really can't describe what you're going through. You're in this fog, and then he reaches out, for the fall, and he said, why don't you just throw out the first pitch? And he didn't know. I've told him how much this meant to me, and that's when this whole softball family came back to me. And I said, this is what I need. I was feeling alone, and what am I going to do? What purpose do I have in my life? All those things you go through when you lose someone. And I went out that day, and I was very nervous, and George was there. It was a big hug. Oh gosh, it was such a big hug because we're close. And I threw out the first pitch, and then we started talking about a reunion in 2024. And that's when I started talking about Wimberley Fields in Oakland Park. And nobody knew this field, that we had first started in this little field in Oakland Park on a rainy, muggy day in July. And I said, why don't we do an event there? I can find some of these old Manatee players and bring them back, and we just have this. He just got it like that and just said, do it. Just whatever you need, you do it, we'll do it. I contacted Steve to be involved with this, and we started planning that event and an exhibition game. Okay. And it ended up, I got 9 people from the original team from 1991, before the league started. As you know, there's these teams and games when we played in the city leagues. They were also excited, felt the same way, this connection, and some flew from California and all over the country. They came in for this reunion and exhibition game, and I said to Steve, I said, why don't you interview them and get these stories? It's the stories that connect the past to where we are today. It's why we're all here. And then Steve, thank you for this. He said, why don't we record these stories? Because back then there were no cell phone camera. We couldn't videotape any of this. And you'll get the emotions of why people are with this league. And so that's how this whole thing started. So the 3 of us are such a big piece of it. And at Wimberley, when we were there, we talked a lot about that kind of this is set in place for the 50th. Like 20 years from now, there's going to be probably a 40th. God willing, there'll be a 50th. The league will survive. It has a way of going through the ups and downs. It'll survive.
We'll make sure of it.
And we will. And these videos would be such a valuable piece of this family during that time. And so I'm so thankful to Steve. Thank you so much. And to this guy. He gave me purpose.
I keep hearing the word family. Hear it a lot in doing this project. But the word, I'm not sure that it became trivialized along the way, but I remember hearing people say, oh, is he family? Is she family?
Oh, you're right.
Think about that.
You're right.
Family, I mean, it's like family, you'd like to throw it around, and we are family. But how do you feel now, just through this experience, making this documentary, doing this, and how do you feel about the word family?
Boy, how do we? You feel it deep. You understand it, especially even more so after losing my husband. How important it is to have that family. And in the interviews, almost all of them talk about it. This is the family you can choose.
It's our chosen family.
And you're born into your family, and you're going to hear, I think Patrick Nicholas said it, but this is the family you choose, and it's safe and welcoming, and we'll fight and we argue, but we still hug.
It's always a lot. Like I said before, we're rivals on the field, but when we're off the field, it's all about enjoying each other's time together.